What is up, bodyweight exercise fans? Just finished my workout, did something short today because I'm recovering a little bit of partying too much during the last weekend. We had a Greek version of Halloween here. Guess what I dressed like. So today I want to tackle again this topic of how many reps should I be doing. A lot of people keep on asking me this, and on one hand it's quite simple. On the other hand, it's actually also complicated because there's so many videos out there on this topic, and I think people wouldn't keep on asking if they had a clear idea of what they have to do exactly for their case, because the best rep range also varies, and it's not the same for everyone. So first of all, super important to remember is that it's not just about doing the right reps. First of all, it's about doing hard sets, hard reps, and getting enough training volume. So doing training close to momentary muscle failure. If you don't know what that means, make sure you watch my previous video on this topic. Very shortly, momentary muscle failure is when you train until you can't do another rep with good form, and this is something I recommend doing on your last set of every exercise. Research is clear on this. If you're not pushing yourself, if you're not challenging yourself, you won't see any progress in muscle growth, no matter what kind of rep range you're working on. And research has shown actually that as long as you are working hard, close to momentary muscle failure, either you're working between 1 and 40 reps, it doesn't matter. There are studies showing that 40 reps can build muscle pretty efficiently, as long again as you're pushing yourself hard. So now that we've covered this, let's talk about what is the best rep range for building muscle, and is there such thing. Here we have two camps. Camp number one says, it's those basically that advocate sticking within that 6 to 12 rep range that all the bodybuilders have been advocating. Well, not all, but most of the bodybuilders have been advocating during the previous decades. And there's another camp, that a more recent one I would say, that advocates using a broader rep spectrum, so working basically on all kinds of different rep ranges in order to build muscle as efficiently as possible. Let's examine first of all these two camps separately. So camp number one, focusing on 6 between 12 repetitions. This seems to be probably the most efficient rep range to work on, especially when you're getting started, because it has basically an ideal balance of including high intensity and metabolic stress. So these two factors are the two most important factors for building muscle. High intensity makes sure that you get a good activation of fast twitch muscle fibers, and metabolic stress makes sure that you also stimulate your muscles to store more muscle glycogen, to increase basically your muscles capacity for muscle glycogen. That's like liquid muscle sugar, if you want to simplify it, which we think, these are not everything, all these things are not that clear yet, but we know that when we focus on these we see results. So muscle glycogen seems to also support more muscle growth. So when you work on increasing your muscle storage for muscle glycogen, it also seems to help with hypertrophy as well. Another thing that this rep range seems to be ideal for, the 6 to 12 rep range, is keeping you focused enough while also being able to push yourself hard enough. So what do I mean here? When you're working between 6 and 12 repetitions, it's an ideal time under tension that you can stay focused and push yourself hard enough without basically feeling too much discomfort. So because when you want to work on a high rep range, let's say 40 reps, and you want to work close to momentary muscle failure, your body is gonna be uncomfortable for about, I would say, 15 reps. So once you're past those 25 reps and you're getting closer to 40, if you want to train close to momentary muscle failure, you're gonna feel a lot of discomfort. Whereas when you're working between 6 and 12 reps, you're gonna feel that discomfort for, I would say, about 3 to 4 repetitions. So after like your 7th rep, you start feel that challenging discomfort feeling, which as a beginner, you might not like it that much, but most people get used to it. Most people find themselves to like it, and I'm sure that it's going to be the same with you. If you're a beginner and now you feel like this discomfort is not that pleasurable, just give it time and you're gonna learn to love it, as all of us do in the future. Now let's talk a little bit about the second camp, so those who support working on a broad rep range. The reason research also has been showing this is because when you work on different rep ranges, you get a little bit more of different benefits for muscle growth. So when you're working a little bit on the lower rep range, you have more intensity, so a little bit more fast twitch muscle fiber activation. When you're working higher, you're getting a little bit more metabolic stress, or you're increasing your muscle glycogen stores more, and you also stimulate some other factors that we talked about in previous videos that help with hypertrophy. So it's good to work also on a broader rep range. Now at this point you might be a little bit mixed up, and here comes the juice of the video, the juicy part, the most important part. So which is it? Should you focus within 6 to 12 reps? A broader rep range? What should you do? Well, as a beginner, it's important to focus most of your effort within that 6 to 12 rep range. I would say just work on that rep range, and I'm going to talk about that in more detail in the coming video, but today I'm just giving you a basic idea to understand these concepts well. And the reason you want to do this is because, as we talked, you get an ideal balance of high intensity metabolic stress. You can focus better within this rep range. You know, it's difficult when you're not experienced to focus on a high rep range and work close to momentary muscle failure. You know, maintain your technique when you're going through that discomfort for a lot of reps. You know, doing all that is a little bit difficult, but that 6 to 12 rep range seems to be the ideal time under tension for you to stay focused on performing high intensity reps. So this is what you want to keep in mind as a beginner, but as you mature as a bodyweight trainee, I would say once you start once you pass that point of training consistently with a good program, you know, not doing random workouts, once you start doing that, I would say after 7 to 12 months, depends a little bit on the person, once you feel advanced enough, it's a good idea to start focusing on broader rep ranges. And specifically with bodyweight exercise, it's important to start including a little bit more higher rep ranges. Now I'm gonna tell you how to do that strategically in the coming videos. I'm gonna do a rep range video more specific, more targeted for beginners, another one for more advanced trainees. I hope that today's video cleared up a little bit this topic that is both complicated and simple. And what else did I want to talk about? Super thank you for my book, the book reviews this weekend. My new book got out. If you didn't see the previous video, it's doing super well. I'm super excited. People have read it within 2 days and started leaving 5-star reviews. Super thankful for that. You know, it's the best way, it's the best gift that you can give me. The book is still on an 80% discount for those wondering, and I'm gonna extend the offer by 2 days because the weekend was just a big, basically stressful day for me. Two stressful days because I couldn't get the offer to run. Amazon was, I don't know, was not responding well. There was a lot of delay, so you know, I told a lot of people the book would be on discount. It wasn't, and I had delay on delay. I had to figure out how to do things manually. Anyway, not to go back into that whole drama, but I'm extending the 80% discount, so the book is around $3, depends on the country. The full price will be $13. So, you know, if you want to get the book and get all this information that we're talking about in a structured manual, you can go check it out right now. I'm gonna include a link above. Leave me your comments about today's topic. If you have something that you're really struggling to understand when it comes to rep ranges, please leave me a comment below. If you have something to add, a personal insight, or maybe something you even disagree, I'd love to hear about it. You know, I always like healthy conversation. We all learn from each other. And until next time, keep on training.